Hello, everyone. I'm Gabriel Díaz. I'm an economics student from the University of Aberdeen. I'm Spanish. I I started uni. I think it was 2014. So I was there for 2014, 2018. Then I moved over to Spain for a short stint at Banco Santander. Then I moved over to Ireland, and I currently live in the United Arab Emirates, where I've lived for nearly 4 years in Dubai and just recently moved to Abu Dhabi.
Thank you. And why did you decide to study at the University of Aberdeen for your undergraduate degree?
So at the time, and I think obviously things have changed since Brexit have changed a bit, but before Brexit at least, the university was free for European students, for any European Union students, which obviously was something to very good and to consider, especially fees, etc. The university has always ranked very well in general, always been top 150. So it was a good choice for me. Obviously, I studied in English. I went to a British school in Madrid, and I wanted to sort of continue that sort of international environment that I had growing up. So I thought of it to myself that Scotland was really attractive, and I don't know why Aberdeen sort of caught my eye. It was slightly more remote, not as central, so obviously not Edinburgh. So I sort of chose Aberdeen, which was I think a good choice. My sister then followed me 2 years later,
Hmm.
and it gave me a lot of like good memories. So I think and that sort of made my journey.
And why economics?
So to be fair, I started with what was it, economics and French. Then I realized that I had to drop the French very quickly. I was doing economics and finance, but then I realized as well that you have to divide your credits. So I moved to economics. I think I always liked macroeconomics. I always liked that sort of macro picture, and I always enjoyed economics. So yeah, it was an easy choice for me. It was always economics, something economics related.
Yeah. And what are some of your favorite memories from Aberdeen?
I'm guessing anyone that anyone that sort of sees the video, I'm guessing everyone knows from uni, McDonald's in Uni Street. I was working there for just to pay for my stuff in uni, etc. So I worked there for the 4 years of uni. That gave me a lot of good memories in terms of obviously I got to see a lot of uni students and a lot of friends throughout the 4 years. You know, and
Yeah.
a difference. How can I put this? In different states during their night, going out in Aberdeen. But it was fun, and obviously, it was my first proper job, and gave me a lot of insight into, the not just obviously different to the job, the kind of things that I do now. Obviously,
Yeah.
office work compared to a lot of manual work back then, but it was more the consistency, the how to actually work in a difficult environment sometimes, and I don't think people appreciate that. And that gave me really good memories and anecdotes, and then. I guess I was also part of the rugby team back in the day, so that also gave me really good memories. I had never done a pub crawl in my life, and quickly learned, obviously that university life, have freshers, so all those things actually was, they're the things that I still hold very dear when I think about Aberdeen. A lot of people think, oh, Aberdeen, and for me, is like a second home, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
That's nice. Also, so yeah, if you had to summarize your career, what would be key milestones in it?
I think. Um, A milestone for me was 100% deciding to go to Aberdeen. I think not easy, but I think it's a big decision to move abroad, especially when you're around 18. I think it's a decision that obviously changes your life. I think many people choose to stay at home, which is obviously completely fine.
Mhm.
But the actual move, I think you grow much faster in terms of like now you have to open a bank account, for example, in the country if
Yeah.
you're not obviously Scottish or something like that. Oh, you have to look for a flat. You're alone now. You have to actually manage your life and start seeing what your parents were probably doing for you.
Yeah.
Groceries, and I think probably most of us have been in that situation where you're like, oh, forgot to do groceries. Now I've got no food. What do I do now? And all of that, like actually cleaning a house, actually cleaning all those things. So I feel like that is a milestone. Then deciding to work during university, it's tough, because I had to juggle both studying and work, and not it wasn't easy always. And it was definitely hard sometimes in uni with some classes, etc. But that was also a milestone. Like that's also when I sort of that was also a milestone. And I guess then internship,
Mm-hmm.
definitely a third year to fourth year uni. It was just a summer internship. That's when I started working. This is the first sort of field for project finance, which is what I do now, infrastructure projects and investment. And that was also a milestone because that's when I realized I really wanted to get into that sort of world. And it took me a while after university to actually get in, but
Mm-hmm.
then I got this opportunity. I got the opportunity in Dubai back in 2021. And I guess obviously coming to the UAE, definitely my latest milestone, where I've obviously come to one of the busiest probably places now in terms of investment and infrastructure development in the world. It's grown massively in the last few years, obviously with Europe slightly slowing down, and this region just picking up completely all and attracting all the investment. So I've seen it grow in the last 4 years massively, still growing, still hungry for expats. So it's definitely the latest and probably a key milestone in my life.
That's very impressive. And you work in a few different countries. How is working in these countries different from each other? Maybe from like cultural perspective or something else.
So I think obviously this Scottish culture was very interesting to me. I think to anyone that's not obviously from Scotland, like it's people are very friendly, but obviously the accents, a lot of things go on, and I think it's quite fun. Then when I moved over to Ireland, it was very close in terms of culture. I think the Irish and the Scottish are actually very close. So it was easy to sort of blend in, to
Yeah.
meet friends. They were actually very surprised that I could, understand. I was like, oh, I've been living in Aberdeen for 4 years now, so I think the accents become easier as well. Um, and then when I moved over here, there's such an expat community. I think I think the stats are like 90 to 95% of the UAE is actually expat. It's
Yeah.
not they're not we're not local. So I think everyone sort of understands everyone because we're all in the same situation. We've all had to apply for a visa. We've all had to, learn. I think this was probably the biggest shock, if more or less. Obviously, this is a Muslim country, which is different to Europe, and learning their culture, learning obviously they pray 5 times a day. They have many things that are slightly different, but also very close to, I guess, European, so some of the main sort of culture religions, like in Europe, like Christianity, for example. So there's a lot of similarities, but also there's a lot of different things that I've had to learn here, and probably the biggest sort of cultural shock was here. So I've learned a lot in the UAE. As well. But obviously, coming from already Ireland and Scotland, it was easier. I think the transition is always easier once you've done it once. You know how to sort of do it in other places.
And what is your job and responsibilities at the moment, and how does your typical day looks like?
So I work in project finance. So investment. So I invest in, or I'm part of a team that invests basically in infrastructure projects, which I recommend to anyone, by the way. I find it very interesting. So my job, I work for a company called TAQA, which is the Abu Dhabi National Energy Company. So essentially, I'm part of TAQA Transmission, so I'm part of TAQA Group. I work in power and water transmission. So we do basically from your renewable energy plants, for example, from the renewable energy or the source of the power or water, for example, we then move that to where it's needed, essentially. Whether it's a water pipeline or it's power cables or undersea cables as well, for example. So I'm part of a team that invests into that on behalf of the government. And a typical day for me, I mean, days are different. It depends on what you're doing, what projects you're doing. So at the moment, I'm actually working in a power bid in Saudi Arabia for the first battery storage project in Saudi. which is really interesting. And you get to talk to different stakeholders. So my day normally, so there's a few meetings, always talking to different partners, the construction or the possible construction companies. Then I do, like, nowadays I do run around the office quite a lot, actually. Just coordinating between the different teams, because we need to raise this money internally, or we need to get approvals, etc. So I'm moving around quite a lot. And then I guess I do a bit of financial modeling as well. So I work a lot with Excel, um, which again, fully recommend that everyone gets into this, all of these tools. Excel is a brilliant tool, but difficult to use as well. So it's something that, but I enjoy it. So, like, a lot of my day is Excel and PowerPoint as well. Obviously, PowerPoint, to you get to get your approvals, your investment. You talk to banks, and you need those PowerPoints to sort of relay all the information. And then Excel is like the tool that sort of backs all the numbers. So that's my typical day.
Yeah. And what advice do you have for students who are looking to get into your career field?
I guess internships. Obviously, nothing you probably don't know, but internships are key. It's how you understand if you like something or you don't like something. I did an internship after uni, and I didn't. It's not that I didn't like it. Like, the people were great. It was actually Banco Santander, back in Madrid, in their headquarters. It was brilliant, like, lovely place, great, to start your career. But for example, I was in communications, which is nothing to do with what I do now. And I realized, okay, this is definitely not something that I want to pursue. But it's, with the internships, you get a feel for things that you like and you don't like. Also, my first internship, um, it was in Madrid. It was for one of the main infrastructure companies in Madrid. That's my first sort of project finance experience. And you might not realize, but everything is connected, and whatever world you work in, everyone knows each other somehow, whether through consultants or because you've moved somewhere, and then everyone knows you. So now you build that reputation. My boss back in the day moved away. Like, he moved out of that company where we worked together. We stayed in touch. We worked well. We stayed in touch, and he was the one that gave me the opportunity to come to Dubai
Yeah.
4 years ago now. So I recommend 100% internships. And then I guess for project finance, there's a lot of courses out there. I think courses are important. Excel is, again, key. Obviously, PowerPoint, like, everything you'll build up as you go. But knowing Excel is definitely very good. Um, what else can I say? I guess any project finance course, I think, is good. Obviously, having a finance sort of background is easier, but it's something that can be learned by anyone. It's more just, I think, it's the drive. It's like, just making sure that you want to learn. I
Yeah.
feel like that's the key to get into this world. Is like knowing, like, wanting to learn, wanting to be involved, wanting to always sort of be part of the team that's doing X, Y, Z. I think that's the key to get anywhere, really, not just my field, but anything.
Yeah. And the last question is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
That's a good question. Probably go attend more classes. Sometimes with work, I did miss a few classes. Look, I think for anyone in uni, just enjoy it. Like, I think it's a cliche, but once you leave uni, you start, like, that's your life. Like, uni is your last step, I guess, in sort of like your younger years. Like, after uni, you have to work, you have to earn a living, essentially. So just enjoy it. Like, there's so many things to do in uni. I actually regret not having been more involved with the rugby guys, with more clubs, for example, more things, not traveling more when I had the chance. So, like, my advice, like, to me, would have been, just travel more. Make sure that you're living every day like you're a uni student. To just take advantage of that, especially when you're like first, second year, where if it's still the same, it doesn't really count. I think it doesn't really count. It's just 2 years for you to actually
Yeah.
enjoy, but also try different things. If you want to try Chinese or an economics or philosophy or whatever it is, that's the time where you have, like, just try things. Don't get comfortable. That would have been my advice. It's just actually push yourself to do everything, because this is like, after that, like, everything is very serious, and you don't have the time.